Okay, so we have a decent looking galaxy here. Um, if you ever don't have access to all your image, of course, you can always scoot in some of these menus here and even delete them if you need to. But you can also go under View, Fit on Screen, and then you have the whole image there. So we've got a decent looking galaxy, but it's not really surreal. We know galaxies exist, right? Even though the idea of surreal is to create something that's unreal or dreamlike. So I was trying to come up with some ideas of what I could do to make this look a little more surreal. And I decided I needed an eye right in the center there. So I have some mug shots. I need a quick eye, just something real fast to pull up. So I'm going to take one of these images of me, grab the file. You can see me doing that down here in the corner. And then I'm going to drag it to the tab bar here. You don't want to drag it here because it'll paste over your image. Drag it to the tab bar here, and it'll open a new tab. Perfect, right? So that way you don't mess up your own. Next thing I'm going to do is, since the colors are so off, you see we have cool blues and violets here. And here it's red and oranges. So I'm going to go under Image, Mode, Grayscale. Yes, I want to discard all colors. Now it's just black and white, but of course I want to get it close to the purples that I had before. So I'm going to go under Image Mode and go back to the RGB color, red, green, blue color palette for the monitor. So now I can play around. I click on Adjustments, and I'm going to click on this icon right here, Color Balance. You can also find it by going Image, Adjustments, and there it is again, Color Balance. Remember, Adobe always gives you more than one way to do the same thing for those important steps. I love it. I love it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is play around with these little levers here. Blue here, a little magenta, red. That might be too much. Okay. The wonderful thing about clicking on this color adjustment here is that you can play around and make the highlights a little more pink and then the shadows a little more blue and really get a dimension there. I really like that feature. And always, 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 after you play around with any of these adjustments, you need to go Layer, Flatten Image. Now, I'm going to just take an eye. I'll take this eye right here. This is how I also got the bird. I will have to get rid of the eyebrow. It looked kind of weird when I did it before. Okay, so Edit, Copy. And remember what happens when I paste here? It's going to create a new layer, which is what we want. So use my Move tool. And the wonderful thing, the Move tool kind of works like the free transform tool. I can adjust it by rotating it. I can resize it, get it larger. It looks a little out of focus now, but when I hit the return key, it looks a lot more sharp, or a little more sharp, that is. Now that I got it the way I want, I've got, of course, got to get rid of the edges. Remember, I want this to look not cut out. That's the only way. Believable is a good word for it. Believable. So don't make it look choppy. So I'm going to take my eraser tool because this is the best way I love to feather. There is a feather feature if you right click and do the feather feature. It'll allow you to do that once I flatten these images. But I like the eraser tool for fine-tuning what I want. So that's my tool of choice. Remember, Adobe gives you more than one way to do the same thing, which is kind of nice if you ask me. What works in some instances does not work in others. Okay, so I got that. I'll move it around. I can resize it. Before I flatten this image here, I am going to go to this tool right here. This is called the dodge tool, which lightens things. And this is the burn tool, which makes things darker. And you can select a certain area. So, of course, I'm going to choose the dodge tool here. Again, you can change. It's got a brush, so you can change it to something that looks right. And I'm going to lighten that quite a bit. I still think that it doesn't blend in enough, no matter how much. Take your hand off the mouse and you can keep going. And I think I went too far there. It's starting to look a little too unbelievable. That's more the colors I wanted. So it's still not light enough to fit under that galaxy, and I want it to kind of glow. So over here under layers, make sure you've got your right layer chosen. I'm going to choose the opacity. And now we're talking. The fill and the opacity, both, I'm going to change so it looks more believable. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. So if that is definitely a surreal image, you got a giant eyeball in the middle of a galaxy. That's all I'm looking for, something to play around with. And remember, you're creating your own idea. You can practice using this practice assignment, but you're not uploading a galaxy. You're going to come up with your own concept, your own idea. So play around before you submit. Create 2 or 3 surreal images and then choose your best one. Last thing, of course, we want to flatten our image. And then it becomes one solid piece. And then we can go File, Save As now, and it'll save as a JPEG. So I can call this Galaxy, which I already have. I'll choose my Galaxy there. Hit Save. Yes, I want to replace it because I'd already saved mine. Also, under image size, make sure it's 800 or below. So your largest or your longest width, whether it's height or width, you want to be under 800 so it's easy to upload to Photoshop. Okay, have fun with this.